Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess it is recording. Okay, so our quick crew summary. Does somebody want to say what we know so far?
Go for it.
So our crew is the Sun Chasers. We're a spooky group of bravos who hide out in a mansion in the Six Towers district. We've got a little crew of thugs, and we are tough as nails.
All right, that is a good summary. And now we'll start making some characters. So we've got, as I mentioned, Cutter, kind of your upfront, unsubtle fighter type. Hound, a rangery type. Leech, saboteur and technician that Colin was interested in. Lurk, stealthy infiltrator and burglar. The Slide, subtle manipulator and spy.
That's me.
Okay. And the Spider, a devious mastermind. The Whisper, arcane adept and channeler. So that's somebody who deals with arcane power, ghosts, and such like. I feel like we need to end up with at least one of those in this strange group. It doesn't have to be one of you, but it seems like a natural.
Whisper definitely appeals to me, unless for some reason, Brent, you really wanted one.
No, I think I kind of want to play the ranger type character. This is a weird feeling for me.
Okay,
right.
So that's
that
the
was my second
Hound,
choice.
deadly
Yeah.
sharpshooter and tracker.
Yeah, but before that, there was one that I didn't really. Can you? Do you have any more information on the Spider? I'm just kind of trying to figure out how it's different from like the Slide, for example.
So, devious mastermind. When you play a Spider, you earn experience points when you address a challenge with calculation or conspiracy. So, like the Slide is the one that infiltrates the enemy group or conspiracy. The Spider is the one that would come up with the plan to infiltrate and to like know where to get in and that kind of thing. They're more the plotter rather than the doer. I mean, obviously everybody does a little bit of everything, but their specialty is more in the, or they might be the one who meets the person at the big fancy dress ball to make the contact to set up the job. They're the Hannibal of the A-team, I guess. They love it when a plan comes together.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with the Hound.
Okay, so we've got a Hound, a Slide, and a Whisper. All right, you have chosen
like euphemisms.
You've chosen a playbook. Now, hold on just a sec. I'm gonna give you some. Let's come back to heritage because that requires a little more setting information. Hold on just a sec. So I'm alternating. I'm going back and forth between the book you're looking at and the big book to have information here.
The big book.
Screw it. Let's choose a heritage. Here are the ones. Ekoros, the largest and most industrialized land of the Imperium, home to the capital city and to Duskwall, where we are. A diverse conglomeration of cultures, somewhat like Europe. If you want to be a rootless wanderer, you could be from the Dagger Isles. People there grow up on ships and travel a lot before settling down. If you want to be considered foreign by the locals, you could be from Aruvia, a rich and powerful desert kingdom, far to the south. If you want to be from a place considered wild by the rest of the Empire, you could be from Severos, nomadic horse tribes in the Deathlands. You could be from Scoveland, the island kingdom across the sea, last brought under Imperial rule. Many Scovelander refugees ended up in Duskwall. And if you want to be weird, you could be from Tykeros, a semi-mythical place far away beyond the northern Void Sea. People say the people there are part demon. Anything strike anybody? And we can come back to these if you want more information. And I will say, the information I just gave you, these are not really fleshed out very much, so we can kind of make of them what we want. So the local would be Akaros, though.
I'm either going to be Akaros or that last one.
The Tykeros. Yeah, that would be a good one for a Whisper to be from. Yeah. And people can be the same one. These are not ones that really have to be exclusive.
What was Aruvia again?
That was Eruvia, a culture considered foreign by the locals. You could be from Eruvia, rich and powerful desert kingdom far to the south. Another diverse land of varying cultures. Think old Persia, Egypt, and India.
Yep, I'll take Eruvia.
Okay.
Good boy.
Anybody else?
Do it.
I'll do Tycho.
Huh?
I'll just decide Tycheros for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, it's one. I feel like I'm having one of those moments where nothing's really jumping out at me. So, play human, I guess.
Okay. So,
I'll go
like,
just
you could be local to the city and be
Yeah.
Akarosi, I guess. So,
Yes.
do you need spellings or are they on your sheets?
They are right here on the sheets, actually.
Excellent.
That's nice.
Well done. Good sheets.
Good
Then-
sheets.
We choose a background. Your background describes what they did before they joined the crew. Academic, scholar, professor, student from Duskwall Academy, philosopher, or journalist. Laborer, servant, factory worker, coach driver, docker, sailor, railjack, etc. Law, an advocate or barrister, or blue coat or inspector. Oh, I could see, like I say, probably not a lawyer, but I could see an ex-blue coat being a possibility. In trade, shopkeeper, merchant, craftsperson, shipping agent. Military, imperial or Skovlander soldier, mercenary, intelligence operative, training instructor, etc. Noble, dilettante, courtier, scion of a fallen house, etc. And of course, underworld, street urchin, gang member, young thug, or other outcast who grew up on the streets.
Academic. That would explain why I'm even here.
Which one?
Academic.
Okay.
Noble.
Oh, okay. So how did a noble like you end up in a gang like this? I love it. I was hoping somebody would pick noble, but
I'll formulate something.
okay, cool. But that's
What's
something to think about for a little backstory. That's great.
Jenny, what was your playbook again?
Slide.
Oh, that's gonna be fucking great. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
a
totally cool.
manipulator and spy who was a former noble, so I got contacts.
Awesome. All right, so we got an academic, a noble, and
Yeah, I'm gonna go with law. I think that I think my character was a blue coat.
okay, that would totally work for Hound. I could see that.
Yeah.
That's where you learned your snipery skills and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And thing to think about is why did you leave the force?
Exactly.
Yeah, and
That's
again,
something
I
to
don't
think
need
about.
answers to that now, but as we think about characters, yeah. Okay, next step: assigning action dots. So you'll see on your sheet that I'm going to get you. Okay, if you look over to the right, under where it says stash and playbook, insight, prowess, resolve, and then the 4 things under each of those are your attributes. I can give you a quick capsule of what they do. The gist is the more dots you have in one, the more dice you're going to roll, so the better chance you have of getting successes. Pretty straightforward. One fun thing about this game is there's overlap between some of the skills. But if you use kind of not quite the right skill in the wrong setting, I have dials that I can kind of turn to say, this is a risky action. That's the middle one. This is a controlled action where you have things are looking good, or it's a desperate action. So like if you look at the resolve skills, say you're getting arrested by some cops and you say, I'm gonna order them to leave me alone. I'm gonna say, well, you can roll your command, but that's desperate. Why would they listen to you? If you say, I'm gonna sway them and try to bribe them, I'm gonna say, okay, that sounds more like risky. Or if you say, you know their boss and you can drop their name, that might bring it up to controlled with your sway roll. So there's the skills are flexible, but not always perfect tools for any given job, which is kind of fun.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So you'll see on each of your playbooks, it starts you off with, I believe, 3 dots, 2 in one and 1 in another.
Yeah.
You are going to end up putting in 4 more dots. As a starting character, the most you can have in any individual skill is 2 dots, though. So that the one you already have 2 dots, that's the most you can get. So for your 4 dots, you can put 1 in any action that you feel reflects your character's heritage, that thing we spent many seconds deciding a few moments ago, and that can be pretty versatile. And then 1 dot that you feel reflects your character's background somehow. That was the like former blue coat, academic, whatever. And then 2 freebies that you can put anywhere, but again, maximum 2. And I will, while you're thinking about that, I will scroll toward what the skills actually are. Attune. You open your mind to the ghost field or other arcane power. So that's your magic skill. When you command, you compel swift obedience. So I order you to do a thing. When you consort, you socialize with friends and contacts. I'm at the fancy ball. I'm going to try to get this noble to give me a job. When you finesse, you employ dexterous manipulation or subtle misdirection. Picking pockets, handling the controls of a vehicle. When you hunt, you carefully track a target. You track someone, it might even be shooting them from a distance. When you prowl, you traverse skillfully and quietly. That's your kind of stealthy one. When you skirmish, you entangle a target in close combat so they can't easily escape. That's your upfront hand-to-hand fighting mostly. When you study, you scrutinize details and interpret evidence. That might be from reading, it might be trying to read a person. When you survey, you observe a situation and anticipate outcomes. What's about to happen here? When you sway, you influence with guile, charm, or argument. When you tinker, you fiddle with devices and mechanisms. When you wreck, you unleash savage force to break things. And I should say, if you're stuck, they offer suggested builds, but they don't do it on the sheet. Wait, don't they?
Power stuff is all like actual physicality. This is not like wreck using mind powers, right?
Correct. That is correct, sir.
So, question. You said we had 4 extra ones. So that gives us a total of 7 then? Because we've got
7
3.
total, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. If anybody wants suggested starting builds, I can tell you what they have in the big book. They're not on the sheets, it looks like.
I think I am actually very, very satisfied with what I've got here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm.
Figure it out.
So what do you have?
So I've got 2 pips in hunt. I've got 1 pip in survey. I've got a pip in finesse, 2 pips in prowl, a pip in skirmish, and that's it. That's all I need.
That was 7. Okay. Well, that added up quick.
Yeah.
What's survey again?
Survey is hold on just a sec. I'm going to give you their exact description. Actions. Just saw it. Here we go. You observe the situation and anticipate outcomes. You might spot telltale signs of trouble before it happens. You might uncover opportunities or weaknesses. You might detect a person's motivations or intentions. You could try to spot a good ambush point, but hunt might be better.
All right. I think I've got my skills.
I think I.
1 in hunt, 2 in study, 1 in survey, 1 in prowl, 2 in attune.
Nice. I was hoping you'd have some attune there.
Well, it came with attune. I came with 2 points
Okay, great.
and 1 point in study.
And how about our slide?
Okay, Slide's got 1 in study, 2 in finesse, 1 in command, 1 in consort, and 2 in sway.
Ooh, excellent. Okay, that sounds fun. All right. Then our next step in character creation, that was our action dots. A special ability. They are in the gray column in the middle of the character sheet. And by the way, they say if you can't decide, you can choose the first ability on the list. It's placed there as a good first option.
Huh.
And again, these are things that the rest of them, the ones you don't take, you can buy later with experience points.
Yeah, I think I see no reason not to. I mean, Tempest is pretty damn cool, I have to say.
Ooh, wow, yeah.
What does push yourself even mean?
That is a fine question. So when you roll dice, you can spend. So there's a currency called stress. You have a finite amount of it as a character, and you always spend it when you want to, not when I tell you to. Like, it's not like Mothership where stress happens to you. So you can push yourself with stress by taking 2 stress to give you an extra die on a roll, which is helpful. Also, when a bad thing happens to you, you can resist it by making a resist roll, but you're going to roll a die, and it's going to come at a cost of 0 to 5 stress. So that can mount up quickly. So this is an extra way to use the currency of stress, in this case, as a stroke of lightning.
Amount of stress, and also how do you get rid of it?
You pursue your vice in off time is a common way to do that. And there are some other mechanisms for it, but it doesn't automatically heal between sessions.
Well, I think before I know more about the game, I'll just go ahead and take the default then. Otherwise, but I love the idea of unleashing a stroke of lightning.
Yeah, it can never go wrong.
We'll start with compel.
Okay. Have others made choices?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it bog standard on mine as well. Sharpshooter seems nice. You push yourself to do one of the following: make a ranged attack at extreme distance beyond what's normal for the weapon, unleash a barrage of rapid fire to suppress the enemy. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, hard to go wrong.
I think my character might have just a lot of guns. I think my character's. I think
your character's Neo.
My character's description is just going to be guns.
Nice.
What do you see there? It's guns.
And Jenny, do you have a special ability in mind?
Kind of. Oh, I've got some good ones here.
Yeah.
I really like Ghost Voice. I also like Mesmerism.
Yeah, I was looking at that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, let's do Mesmerism.
Okay, that's awesome.
When you sway someone, you may cause them to forget that it's happened until they next interact with you.
Ooh.
And my sway is high, so.
Then, just like for your crew, you've got a list of names on yours. You choose among those, and a description of the people. From among them, you choose one who's a close friend, and you give a little up arrow, and one who's a rival, and a down arrow.
Oh.
So each of those could be either.
Oh.
And these are not, there's not like a secret encyclopedia fleshing out all these people. Like, all we know about them when you pick them is, Steiner, an assassin. But we would flesh out that relationship. Like, your old partner turned bitter rival, or the person who trained you who you could go to when the chips are down, or, and each of those can go either way.
Fun.
There we go. All right, that was easy.
Who you got?
So my friend is Baso Baz, a gang leader.
Oh,
Ooh.
well, he is actually a little more fleshed out in the book. That's funny. I didn't realize that. Okay.
All
right.
My rival is, of course, Nirix, a prostitute.
Okay. Cool.
Oh my gosh! Wait, spell the name of your
NYR
prostitute.
Y.
Okay, that's
NYR.
that's interesting.
Why?
Because I just chose as my strange friend Nirix, a possessor ghost.
What?
Yes. I did that independently. Nirix, a possessor ghost.
Oh, that's probably just a coincidence. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it.
It's a common name.
Common name. Yeah.
Game
It's like
Master starts scribbling notes.
And my enemy,
gibberish.
or at least my rival, is Flint, a spirit trafficker.
Nice. All right. And let's see the Hound. Yeah.
So, do we have more description on what a sentinel is in the game's kind of world?
Yeah. Hold on, oops, wrong book. This thing. Okay. Yes. Stand by. Right. Well, wait. So this would be, it would be like another, it would be a whisper type who they might be with an organization. There's actually a couple of groups who are kind of guardians of the town against ghosts, or it could be a private operator one way or another. But it'll be somebody with arcane adept type abilities and a relationship with ghosts, for better or worse.
Okay. Hmm.
And again, we can flesh all these out. All of our ghost-possessed prostitutes.
I think I'd like my enemy to be Costa, the bounty hunter.
Nice.
Just I like the idea of a bounty hunter
Mhm.
as a rival. And
And
in
a
terms of-
friend?
yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe it's Steiner who's my mentor.
Okay, I like that. Special ability, close friend and rival. Now you choose your vice. There are 7 to choose from.
Huh.
Can you describe?
Yes, I will. But there is actually a game mechanism involving your vices in the downtime of the game, and sometimes in the middle of action. You want to relieve stress. One of your downtime actions can be to pursue your vice. Then there's a die roll to see how effective it is. If it's too effective, you have negative consequences from your vice. Like it might be you pick up heat because you attracted police presence, or you pissed off a rival gang member, or you got kicked out of your vice, your whatever your source is, something like that. Your vice options are faith. You're dedicated to an unseen power, forgotten god, ancestor, etc. Gambling. You crave games of chance, betting on sporting events, etc. Luxury, expensive and or ostentatious displays of opulence. A lot of good words in that one. Obligation, you're devoted to a family, a cause, a charity. Sounds like you guys. Pleasure, gratification from lovers, food, drink, drugs, art, theater. Stupor, you seek oblivion in abuse of drugs, drink to excess, getting beaten to a pulp in the fighting pits, and such like. And finally, weird, you experiment with strange essences, consort with rogue spirits, observe bizarre rituals or taboos.
Man.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to choose. And I can repeat the list if you, or any of the items if you want.
Oh, well, it's either luxury or pleasure over here. So
Also, if you go to page 11, actually go to page 11. Because on the right side there, you'll see Duskwall's Vice Purveyors. And you can see the sorts of places that might be your go-to source for your vice of choice.
okay.
Oh,
Isn't that thoughtful of them?
that is so nice.
In?
Right, page 11.
It's
Okay.
like page 11 is the Yelp of Blaze in the Dark.
So it is. Look at that.
And I'll say, if you're looking at faith, the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh is like probably the biggest religion in town. They reject all things spiritual as being obviously and blatantly corrupt.
Oh.
And like everything that's worth doing is in your corporeal form.
Oh, okay. Is opium a thing in this game?
There's something opium like. You can
Perfect.
call it opium for now. I might give you more detail on the options there. Oh, here we go. Black Lotus, a tar-like resin made from the leaves of the plant, induces coma-like stupor and visions. Or there's Dream Smoke, a milder formulation, induces a pleasant intoxication. Trance Powder, glittering blue powder, induces a pleasant hypnotic trance when inhaled. Yeah, you got some drug options here.
Awesome.
So as you recall, I picked Faith as my vice, and I
Yeah.
chose as my purveyor Illicil at the ruins of the Temple to Forgotten Gods in Coleridge.
Oh, I love it. That's fun. And did you go with pleasure and stupor or luxury or... Oh, no, pleasure or luxury where you were leaning toward?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with luxury, and I'm gonna take Dunridge and Sons Fine Fabrics and Tailoring.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay. That is your vice. Then we need a name, alias, and look. They have lists of suggested names on page 2. Yes,
Yeah.
page 2. But of course, you can pick not from on that. First names and family names, they have ideas and aliases. Though again, go with what you want.
Do we typically need an alias?
That's up to you. You can go by your name, but if you want to have, your given name and something you go by in the crime community, that's totally your call. Alias is optional.
Is it 2 on the nose if I have my alias be gun?
That is so awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's totally fitting.
2 ends.
2 ends.
Okay, yeah, 2 ends. Becky chimed in and said 2 ends, so it's
Nice.
gotta be 2 ends.
The extra ends for another gun.
Yes. I think it's always in capital letters.
And you can you can sit on that if nothing's grabbing you right away. I know for me, sometimes coming up with the name for a character is the thing that takes me the longest.
It's weirdly, it can either be the hardest decision or the easiest one, right?
Yeah. And then you can have a look at those are just options for looks, but you can go with that wherever you want.
Yeah. So my character's name is Rip Slag Cheek.
Hey, the legend continues in just a different form.
Well, they're all related somehow.
Yeah.
And they're ambiguous in appearance under a thick greatcoat.
Love it. That sounds good for a whisper too. Any other decisions made, or you can sleep on them again? We've got a while before we're actually going to play.
So, my character's given name is Elena Vale, and she is an athletic woman in a long coat and tricorn hat.
Cool. I like the tricorner hat too. That's awesome.
You gotta, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you gotta.
Okay, well, I guess mine is Cyrene Dava, also known as Silver.
Nice.
I think it would be good to have a streak of silver in my hair somewhere. Maybe that'll be
yeah.
noticeable. And I am a woman. Let's see. Yes, I am a striking woman. In loose silks and a mask. I'm gonna nix the robes because that will come under loose silks.
Cool. And does the silver theme go into the clothing too?
Sure.
It's up to you, but
Yes,
cool.
metallic threads everywhere.
Okay, those are the decisions to make. I'll point you towards something that's kind of cool about the game. If you look at your sheet, under the special abilities where it says, and next to friends where it says items and load, like that is all gear that's accessible to you. At the beginning of a mission, you'll pick your load, which is light, normal, or heavy. Light, that might just be any old civilian walking around in the street. Normal, hey, that person's kind of loaded up. And heavy, you are clearly encumbered, and well, people be like, that person's going to do a heist of some sort.
That's when you see Gunn wearing both a pistol, a second pistol, a large weapon, and armor.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't have to specify exactly what you're carrying at the outset. So through the course of so it's like, think about a movie. One heist movie might say it shows you loading this gun and like getting the grappling hook and whatever. The other movie, you show up and I don't really know what this character has. This is the second kind of movie. So if you take a light load, you're like, okay, well, I've got my gun out, my fine hand weapon, or what? Let's look. I'll go to Hound. Fine hand weapon. Okay, that's great. You check that off. That's one of your 3 loads. If you later say, yeah, but I've also got my climbing gear, that's got 2 boxes. That's 1, 2, 3. That's your whole load. You can't pull anything else off of that list for this mission. So that's one kind of cool thing. And 2, once you start a mission, it isn't like you don't elaborately plan out your plot. You make you give me the basic idea, like, okay, you're breaking into the mansion. What, are you going to smash through the front door? Are you going to try to sneak into the abandoned canal? Are you going through the rooftop? Are you going to con your way in? Based on that, we do a roll, and then we take it right to the action. Okay, your roll was sucky. Not only is that secret grate underneath or by the canal locked, there's like an electric ghost field blocking it, and then you take it from there. But to account for planning, there's a mechanism called flashbacks, where you can spend stress to say you made a particular preparation. So it gets pretty wild.
Yeah.
You can't change history. You can't say, oh, we came by earlier and blew up the thing. But you might say, yeah, well, I'm spending stress, and stress is a finite currency. We researched this building to get the ghost history, so it gives us some kind of advantage to try to beat that trap, or something like that. I don't know exactly how that'll work, but it's pretty wild.
Well, it's a good thing that I studied up on this exact kind of lock in order to unlock it.
Right. Or,
so cool.
Or I bribed the butler at the fancy ball to like give me the seat right next to Lord such and such.
I would do that. That's something I would do.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a silver move.
Exactly. The last thing that we might do, like we could stop there, or we could look at some of the other factions in Duskfall and figure out what some of our relationships are with them.
Can we go back for a second?
Oh yeah, of course.
When you were talking about the load, so do we choose our own, 3, 5, or 6?
Exactly. So each of you would pick your individual load
on a per game session basis, right?
Oh yeah, it's not a permanent choice. Like,
so here's my question: there's a block next to the Sly Friends called Items, and then there's the one on the right hand side under Load for like weapons and equipment.
It's all. So the items under. So I think the ones on the right are the same for each. Yeah. So every one of the ones on the right part are a blade or 2, throwing knives, pistol, and so on.
That's clever organization.
But for the Hound, they can have a fine pair of pistols or a fine long rifle. Okay. Or electroplasmic ammunition, which you can use to hit, say, ghosts. So those are options that not other people might have, but they all count toward your load. Yeah.
That's a very clever way to physically arrange these items. I didn't catch that. That's pretty neat.
So in that case, so if I have under my items, which I guess are specialty.
Right. Yeah. I'm just scrolling to slide here. So you have fine clothes and jewelry. So like you are dressed better than the average thug. Disguise kit, fine loaded dice and trick cards, trance powder, cane sword, spirit bane charm, which I can look up and tell you what that is before a mission.
What does it mean to? I'm sorry. What does it mean to have them in italics?
I don't
I think
know.
actually, never mind. My assumption is wrong. I thought it would be like this is in reference to a specific like item that exists within the universe, but that's
Oh no, here it is. Oh, this is great.
Ah.
Items in italics don't count toward your load.
What?
So that makes sense. So your I was kind of wondering, like, why do you have to give up a load point to wear fancy clothes? You shouldn't have to, and so you don't. So the Hound, your trained hunting pet, is a freebie, as is your Spirit Bane charm. Oh, that's cool. Whisper, you've got Electroplasm vials, Ghost Key, and Demon Bane charm, all as freebies. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, as you're hearing me surprised by things, this is, I have not GM'd this before.
Oh, this is pretty great. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means, what are subterfuge supplies?
That is a fine question. Just a moment. 2, 3. Subterfuge supplies. 88. It's a theatrical makeup kit, a selection of blank documents ready for the forger's hand, costume jewelry, reversible cloak and distinctive hat, a forged badge of office.
Yep.
So that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And is it the same as the fine disguise kit?
Fine disguise kit is not a standard item. That'll be under slide. Fine disguise kit, a theatrical makeup kit equipped with an impressive array of expert appliances to fool the eye. Oh, the fine quality of this kit. So yeah, when you see fine quality, it basically makes you roll better, or makes me give you, like, instead of a desperate action, having the fine equipment may give you, may make it a risky action or something like that. It will boost the odds of and the outcome of your success. So yeah, if you've got the fine disguise kit, you wouldn't also need the subterfuge supplies.
Okay, so and last thing I want to ask about is documents.
So that's
the right documents, I imagine.
Yeah, that's a generic one.
Yeah, a collection of slim volumes on a variety of topics, including a registry of the nobility, city watch commanders, and other notable citizens, blank pages, a vial of ink, a pen, a number of interesting maps. So these are not like just the forged documents that you need, but it's the kind of reference material, writing material.
Oh, I see.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm set with items then.
Cool. And you don't have to select them now, like, because maybe if your first mission, is to knock over a bank, you might want one set of items. If it's to infiltrate the fancy dress ball and meet the contact, that you could pick different items. I think you're not committed to the same items each time.
But you see, gun always has the same loadout because gun has only one purpose.
Right. But all of this stuff is at your headquarters. Like, it is all grabbable for you.
That's so neat. I love this so much.
Yeah, and you don't. So a nice thing is you don't have to go out and buy stuff. But, well, we want the specific, like, ghost emerald to capture this thing that's haunting this district. Well, then you're going shopping, or then you're going to an alchemist to craft a thing. So if you need something particular and special, there's a gate. You'll have to do gamey stuff to get it. But for this basic stuff, you don't have to worry about, I need to go to the store and buy another tinkering tool or whatever. Yeah,
how much is 50 feet of rope again?
Exactly. Yeah, none of that. You've got climbing gear if you want it.
Great. Now,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just super quick question. Does heavy armor count for 3 or 5? I'm just staring at that. I'm trying to figure out one way or the other.
How heavy is heavy armor?
Yeah, like if you're wearing heavy armor, does it automatically put you at like load 5?
Let's see. Where is that? Oh, armor. Oh, no, it's 3. It's 3 load.
Okay, it's 3 load.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that would, because otherwise that would be even if you took heavy load, you'd just have armor and one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be tough.
Which, oh man, so if you really, technically speaking, you could just choose to be, I'm going to walk in extremely obvious, so I'm going to pick the heavy load. And like, that could mean that you're wearing heavy armor, or it could mean that you have like a lantern, tinkering tools, subterfuge supplies, documents, arcane influence,
Exactly,
burger
yeah.
gear, and an unusual weapon.
Right, exactly.
Interesting.
So, but I might factor. So it's like, okay, we're just like marching up to the front of this bank and breaking the door in. You got heavy load, fine. We are trying to stealthily like walk through the market to get to this forgotten trap door. That might attract attention. Like the blue coats might look at this person like carrying a load and like at least pay more attention to you. So it might hurt your initial engagement roll on particular types of jobs to be
Yeah,
over
big time.
geared. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, this I think that it's just the last thing on the character page that I didn't see any reference to, which was the stress and trauma and all the descriptors next to it.
Right. So that will be coming along later. But so stress, stress again is a currency you can use to give yourself an extra die to help another character get an extra die on a roll, or you can use it, but there's some randomness to it to try to resist bad things happening to you.
Okay.
When you use up all your stress, you get a trauma, one of those 8 things there, which affects you. You never get rid of a trauma. When you take the trauma, it gets rid of all your stress. Trauma can do a couple things. You can, so say you get reckless. You could kind of play that as much as you want. You don't have to always be reckless. But one of the ways you get experience points is you struggled with issues from your vice or trauma during the session. So if you have the reckless trauma and you behave recklessly, you get experience for it. For trauma ever, you have to retire your character. They're arrested, committed, retired, going into another line of work. They just can't hack the life anymore.
Okay.
It's got to be too much.
Yeah. Harm. You'll notice there's no place for hit points. Harm comes in a few different levels, and there's usually some kind of description. One might be fatigued, or it might be bump on the noggin, but not too serious. 2 might be broken ankle. 3 might be huge chest wound, and that means you need help. If you take level 4 harm, you're dead. If your level 1 boxes are full and you take another level 1 harm, you have to take a level 2, and so on. And a big use of stress can be, so that roll, the consequence was you fell off the side of the building and broke your leg on the bottom. That's where you might roll a resist roll and say, no, okay, so level 2 goes to level 1. You just sprained your ankle or something like that. So it's all about consequences and mitigating them.
I'm here to play a role-playing game, not relive my life.
Kinda, yeah. And for tone of the game, they really make the point. Like some games, and I've definitely been here as a player. It's like, well, I don't want to do this stupid thing and put my character at risk. I don't want to be the person who overlooks the thing and exposes us all to danger. You've chosen a line of work in this game that you know is exposing you to danger and risk and excitement, and just go for it. And again, the line is play your character like you're driving a stolen car. Like, if it's like, I should play it safe or I should dive through the window to do the dramatic thing, you should do the dramatic thing. And roll to get experience point. Every time you roll a desperate action, you get an experience point. Like, so when you're doing something against the odds, well, that's the slide. No, everybody gets that. Some people have different particular ones. But that doing the action movie thing is encouraged in the game. So we could wrap there, or we could look at factions that you are affiliated with in friendly or bad ways. And I'm honestly could go either way. We could wrap now, or we could do that with the whole group whenever that exists.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to. I think I'm kind of starting to lose focus a little
That's
bit.
fine. Yeah, I could
so-
be done now. I think I have some pinochle to play with my parents later tonight, so I could take a break from online gaming at any time. What I might do though is go through some of the factions that are out there and shoot you guys some that I think, like a long list that might be a good fit to choose from. There's like 30 or 40. I don't want to go through each of them here. That would be hard to do. But I could send you a handful of them that I think might be interesting matches / foils for the Sun Chasers.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. I think we can call it a session 0 for you three at that point. I can take. I can go through with Column and anybody else who comes in as characters. We've got the crew for them to fit into now. Any other questions about the game or how it works, or any points of curiosity? I haven't done anything to explain the rules yet, so don't
That's
feel
fine.
lost on that. And that's something that can come through as we play it.
Do we
Like
get to
the
be free
initial-
level 2 because we were here for session 0?
God, you kind of should, but no.
Oh man,
Sorry,
That's the way it is.
it's a rough world.
this game sucks.
We're just automatically the lieutenants of the
Exactly.
crew, and everyone else is kind of working for us more or less.
I meant to write down people's characters' names.
Oh, I can go here.
Hold on a second.
Um.
All right,
Just-
Brent, what's your character's name?
Okay. Yeah.
Helena Gun Vale.
Gun Vale. Oh, Helena. Not Elena, right. Helena Gun Vale. And Jenny.
I'm typing it for you.
Oh, okay. Cyrene.
Cyrene.
Oh, 2 A's and dot. Okay, or 3 A's, I guess total.
Mhm.
So-
It's a lot of A's.
I tried to
Lotus.
very exotic,
It is. I like it.
and I've decided that I'm.
You're the slide, right?
Yes, I'm the eldest. I'm the eldest daughter of a noble family who was fleeing from an arranged marriage.
Nice.
Ooh,
Ah.
nice.
I love it.
And Damon.
Rip Slag Cheek. I'll write that in. There,
Do
you
Do you ever
nobody-
think about changing your last name to a compound word in real life?
and you don't know if that's a real name. Nobody knows if that's this person's real name, or who knows. But that's what they go
Excellent.
by. Rip
I
I
Slag.
kind of feel like Rip came with the building. They're just kind of there. Do they? Does Rip identify as male or female?
Yes.
Gotcha.
All right, you said ambiguous. Yeah.
Ambiguous. Yep.
Do they have preferred pronouns, or what are their pronouns?
They don't seem to respond either better or worse to any use of any pronoun, whether gendered or impersonal.
Fair enough.
They respond to all of them
Excellent.
equally well.
Okay. Well, this gives me a lot to work with already. Yeah, I think this could be a lot of fun. And for playing the game, again, action is good, and also they very much try to make it narrative based. So don't stress out about like, should I use prowl or hunt, or whichever skill for this. Like, describe what you want your character to do, and then actually it's not even just my job. We kind of work together, and I think it'll get faster as we go to figure out which skill works and why. So really don't stress out too much about learning the rules, because we'll just translate them from the narrative. But I will say, always be ready to use stress, because that can make a big difference in certain circumstances. That is your kind of not free, but that's your bonus die / push your luck kind of mechanism.
Kind of the optional
Your
hit
luck.
points. Sounds like.
Sort of, yeah. Mental hit points.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. This could happen to you,
Mhm.
or you could. I feel like I'm going to hear you say, or you can spend some stress.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't even get into Devil's Bargains.
Oh, that's right. I remember
Yeah.
reading about these.
Right. Like I can always offer you, like, I think it's another die on your die roll, but it's at this cost. The gang lieutenant on the other side in this meeting marks you for future interests, and will be like looking for an opportunity to get you, or literally you summon a demon with this, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun little twists in it. All right, I think that's a good place to leave it. Thank you. Session zeros are fun. I like them.
Yeah.
I like making up characters. Damn it.
I do too. It's really great.
It's honestly, sometimes I kind of wonder if it's kind of the fun part of the game, and that's what I love so much about this group in particular, because we just do that all the time.
Yeah, actually, it has been fun switching from game to game and like going through that process. Yeah. My brother and I used to just make up characters, like without any intention of ever playing them in some games, like Traveler and stuff like that.
There was a brief period in time where, like, early in the transition before pandemic into the pandemic, where Colin and I were making more Ars Magica characters than we can count and just passing them back and forth. I really loved. That's my favorite. It is, and part of it, I actually just really liked the whole system of it. It's a little grueling, a little rough, but it was also really creative. Like I just kept getting ideas just from reading through the different rules, especially like the virtues and flaws. So
yeah, you could take that in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, ultimately it's character creation that hooks me on that game, because I just think it just sparks my imagination so much more than any other game ever. Like making a character in that game makes me want to play it.
Oh, fun. Well, I want to play it. I have a character.
Yeah. We will. At some point we will.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye.
It's great.